Movie posters are one of the most important things about a movie, besides the trailers or the actual movie itself. And let me tell you, I love movie posters. It's what you see at theaters, on DVDs, and other promotional stuff. A lot of the time, a poster can be what piques your interest. A good comparison, movie posters are like the cover of your book or a thumbnail. And just like with that, some look great and others look really bad. And so today I want to talk about movie posters, some types I love and others I don't love. So let's get it out of the way and get right into it, starting with probably the most well-known type of poster. Floating head posters has got to be the most boring and overused format for movies, especially recently. It seems like every single big budget or big franchise film has one. They've just become so uninspired, devoid of anything artistic or meaningful. Their only purpose is to shove as many A-list actors on the cover as possible, just so you can go, ooh, is that Robert Downey Jr.? Arrival. Now, this is so far my favorite movie I've seen. It's a really unique and mind-bending sci-fi film. And the poster is... it's not the worst of its kind, but why is the right side of the poster just completely white? Where's the rest of the poster? And then everything else is just Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner, and Forrest Whitaker. Whitaker? It's such an ugly poster for a great film, and this is the poster that's mostly used for DVDs and Blu-ray. Or they can just show one actor on the cover, like what X-Men First Class did, or at least part of an actor's face. Who said this was a good idea? But hey, don't get me wrong, not all floating head posters are bad. Some can be cool, like really cool. Just look at the first two Star Wars trilogies. These, specifically the first trilogy, are some of my favorite posters, and they're technically a part of the floating head category. The old Star Wars posters, just the colors, the poses, it's so dynamic and it gets your attention. It's like the cover of an epic sci-fi novel or the cover of an old Atari game. It's got that 70s game box art vibe to it, if you get what I'm trying to say. And to mention a few more floating head posters that are really good, look at the first Harry Potter film, The Shawshank Redemption, Hook, which are all actually made by the same guy, Drew Struzan. What separates floating head posters like the ones made by Struzan and other ones is that I think Struzan's designs accomplish what they're supposed to do while also just being a good poster. I think he made Indiana Jones as well. They're made to show you all the cool big actors, but have so much style and life to them. Struzan has a specific style that always catches your attention because of how much detail is put into things, like the composition or the colors. And then there's bullshit like this. I'd say superhero or comic book movies are definitely what use floating head posters the most, especially since the rise of the MCU. The amount of boring copy-paste designs I see on streaming services when a lot of MCU films have other great posters is insane. Let's use Spider-Man for example, since he's my favorite superhero. Most Spider-Man films have great posters, I'd say. Spider-Man 3, is it known to be a phenomenal movie like its predecessor? No, even if I love it, but the poster has become so iconic because its simplicity, and because it's really badass and gets its point across. Or the TASM films. There's a few bad floating head kind of posters, but there's also a lot of phenomenal alternative posters. I really liked Spider-Man Homecoming, and some of the promotional posters are exactly what I like. Fun, simple, unique, and then, especially No Way Home, what is that? And I feel like recently, like within the last, 10 years maybe, a lot of great posters get pushed aside or turned into alternative posters on purpose to push out these garbage floating head posters, making the idea super repetitive and boring to see time and time again. You wanna know what got me into Dune? The poster. It's simple, cool, I love it. And this is what the Blu-rays looked like. I actually almost tossed Dune Part 1 back in the Walmart $5 bin because I thought it was just some random movie until I noticed, oh no, that's Dune. So when you look at it, floating head posters doesn't always equal garbage design. It just seems like everyone likes to use that same garbage design nowadays, especially in movie theaters. But I don't think that really counts when it comes to IMAX. I swear to God, your movie can have the absolute worst lineup of posters ever, but bring that movie to IMAX, you are guaranteed a gorgeous poster 9 times out of 10. Look at Dune Part 1. This looks like it could be a cover for one of the novels. Soft colors, Paul in the center of the poster, the planets in the distance, it's so simple. Or look at Batman vs Superman. These IMAX posters are genuinely some of the coolest designs in all of comic book movies. And the official one? It's not bad, it's just kinda meh in comparison. But like, I could go on with these comparisons. Killers of the Flower Moon, Doctor Strange 2, The Batman, Interstellar, Avatar 2, and I mean, this is just off the top of my head. They gave The Force Awakens like 5 separate posters, and they are awesome. But I think I've rambled and made enough comparisons about floating head posters. It's clear that I dislike the majority of them, so let's talk about the kind of posters that I do love, which is something simple yet creative. Sometimes less is more, in my opinion. Not every poster needs to slap actors on it or 20 different colors or something that's just going to give you a big headache. Sometimes all a poster needs is that one thing or that one color or pose that makes it unlike any other poster. And the first one that comes to mind, one of my absolute favorites ever, is Shin Godzilla. I don't think this movie has a single bad official poster. I mean, just look at the teaser poster. It's so simple and powerful, a bright red that catches your eyes before you look up, seeing what looks to be the mouth of some monster, before looking back to the center, reading the line, "God help us." Cinema. My favorite Shin Godzilla poster though is actually the main one, mostly because in this one you can see the full, darkened version of the full Godzilla. The text saying, "A god incarnate, a city doomed," it's just so awesome, and I especially love the contrast between the bright red and the very dark shadows over Godzilla's face. But speaking on posters with a color that gets your attention, The Shining. I know my friend Nico is super happy right now. This is a movie that I didn't even really like on my first watch, but the poster has always stuck with me because of how iconic and great it is. I love the yellow, the great font, especially how the eyes in the title are little while every other letter is capitalized, but my favorite part, easily, the. Mostly because it has nothing to do with the movie, but it's just weird. Like the movie? The Truman Show. One of the best movies I've personally seen, and same for its poster. I mean, it's Jim Carrey's face, made up from a bunch of the movie's stills. If you've seen the movie, you get the poster. It's just so cool and unique. Actually, I guess this counts as a floating head poster. Akira. Again, this poster is just so iconic. I love everything about this. It's just Kaneda walking up to his cool sci-fi motorcycle. That's all I need. Star Wars Episode 1. This is an alternative poster. I don't even like this movie, but I don't need to explain myself. But let's switch back to the horror genre with Halloween. I don't even like this movie, just like The Phantom Menace, but you simply cannot dislike this poster. Spooky pumpkin with a hand holding a knife. It gets your attention with its simple yet eye-catching design. Spooky pumpkin because Halloween, knife because murderer, put them together, you get a crazy murderer during Halloween. Phenomenal design. And it's also way cooler than some of the newer ones like Halloween Kills or Halloween Ends or whatever they're called. So from these few examples, it's clear that I like cool and unique posters, ones that are usually more on the simple side. But when it comes to physical media, it's hit or miss. Sometimes you get a Blu-ray or DVD that has a perfect poster, it's that one that you just really like. And other times, this is just so boring. Why use the bland corporate, why? How does your poster have less sauce than the second SpongeBob movie? Now, what did we learn today? Movie posters. I love the simple ones, and you can see that by checking my Letterboxd list. And I also love ranting and complaining about the bad ones. But you know what? Art is subjective at the end of the day. You might think my favorite posters suck because you prefer Bullet Train's posters. Seriously, could they not take more than one photo of Brad Pitt? And that's okay, because no matter what kind of posters you do love, none of them will ever be better than the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. Thank you for watching.
It ain't hard to tell, I excel, then prevail.